guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Camilla Mills, and today's video is going to be a story about a point in time when I was living beyond my means. I even wore my favorite shirt today. Mulan. Story time! So today, I'm going to switch it up a little bit. I'm going to talk about my worst financial decision ever. At this point in time, I was working about 2 jobs, working about 70 to 80 hours a week with about $15 in my savings account and a $1,000 car payment. Yes. But before we get into that, if you haven't done so already, go ahead and slam that like button and click the subscribe button. It'll help my channel immensely and it's free. Thank you. Back to story time. So let's backtrack about 3 years ago, September of 2017. You walk outside, sun is shining, leaves are falling, and what do I see? My 2013 Nissan Altima is scratched up like there is no tomorrow. It looked like a toddler had literally taken a key to my car and just went scratch happy. Now, what was so infuriating at the fact that I had scratches on my car was the fact that I had just gotten it 2 years prior. The car was practically brand new for me, at least. Although it was 2013, it was pretty new. So to see the scratches on the car, it sent me over the roof. At that time, my monthly payments were about $320 a month, which were pretty manageable. However, I was also paying utilities, rent, student loans, all in about $2,000 a month with $15 in my savings account, if that. But I had a great credit score, and I was going to use it. Yes, I was. So I took my car back to the dealership that I had originally got it from, and I said, I want to trade in my car to get lower payments. I've got scratches on it that were really bad, and I just don't want the car anymore. And they were happy to oblige. Never mind the fact that I probably just could have gotten a paint job, but that's beside the point. They ran my credit and approved me for a brand new base model 2018 Nissan Altima with black rims and paddle shifters. Now, let me tell you, my monthly payments had literally doubled to $630 a month, but they were black on black with paddle shifters. This was literally the only thing that they were selling me on, and like a dummy, I fell for it. Let's keep in mind that my income is still $2,000 a month. This car payment was going to take up a whole third of my monthly income. I knew this was probably the silliest thing I had probably done up to date, but just kept signing those papers anyway. After it was all done, I drove the car home, and my mom was not impressed when she heard that car payment. She literally looked at me like I had 3 heads. My dad understood. He didn't agree with it, but he understood where I was coming from. The old car had scratches on it. We had to do something. At least I had to do something. I drove the car for about 2 days and literally wanted to cry. Nothing was the same. My butt warmers were gone. There was no sunroof. Navigation. Did it even have navigation? It didn't. It didn't even have navigation. No lane shifters. Bluetooth was trash. It barely even had a backup camera. I was so disappointed. And what was so insulting was the fact that it was double the payments. What the... The second day of having my car, I called the sales rep and told him I didn't really want the car anymore and that it didn't have any of the features I wanted. So he told me to bring the car in and then we'll see what we can do. Okay, great. Perfect. So I took it back to the dealership the next day, and I, stupidly, looked at all fully loaded cars that would better satisfy me. Great. I guess that was much better. But now my monthly payment was a whopping $761. Not to mention, in New Jersey, when you lease a car or buy a car brand new off the lot, you do need to have full coverage on car insurance, which was an additional $250. When it was all said and done, I was paying $1,000 for a Nissan Altima. sink in a little bit. $1,000. We had that Bugatti money. $1,000 on just my car. Please, let's just keep in mind that my monthly income was literally still only $2,000. This car alone takes up half of my income. Where am I going to get this money from? I had no business driving that car off the lot, but sure enough, I did. I sure did. I went in for lower payments and literally came out with 3 times the monthly payment that I was already paying. But my car had no more scratches on it, and it was fully loaded. Lucky me. And luckily enough, my first payment wasn't due for another 45 days. Yay. Now, just brace yourself because this is actually where it starts getting dark and dark quick. After 2 weeks of having the car, and I can't make this up, my health literally started to deteriorate. I couldn't sleep, I couldn't eat, and I literally had a lump in my throat. I would go to sleep, and all I could dream about was the car. I thought I could figure it out, but the truth was, I literally had no idea what to do. How on earth was I going to pay for a $1,000 monthly car note when my monthly income alone was $2,000? That's when I knew not only did I have a debt problem, but I had an income problem. After 3 years of being a barista and 1 year of being a bank teller, my time had come to move on. Making lattes was not going to pay that car off. So I started applying for job after job, and between 2 jobs, Wednesdays were really my only days off. So that's actually when I would schedule all of my interviews, whether I would have one in the morning and one in the afternoon. I would figure out how to work my interviews based off of my 1 day off during the week. I made my first car payment in early November. And when I tell you it hurt, it hurt. I literally felt it in my soul. My whole paycheck was gone. I think I even had to ask my parents for money that month to help me with my rent. Something was wrong. At this point, having the car just made me sad. It made me lose sleep. And I just wasn't with it anymore. It was a liability. And what broke my heart even more was knowing that people actually go through this. There's no way that I was the only one struggling with something like this. I felt the weight on my shoulders, and I felt how heavy my shoulders were, knowing that this was something that I was going to have to pay for the next 5 years. But what's more unfortunate is that people really live like this, and it shouldn't be a way of life. So here's a breakdown of what exactly happened. My brand new car was literally underwater as soon as I drove it off the lot. As soon as I even signed for the papers. What does that mean? That means that I owed more on the car than what the car was actually worth. I owed $18,000 on my 2013 Altima. When I took it to trade it in, the dealership bought it for $6,000, leaving me with about $12,000. They then took that $12,000 and rolled it into the new Nissan Altima, which was $33,000, making the full car loan $45,000. Now, when it's all said and done, I still had a 5.6% interest rate, which isn't so bad. But because the car loan was so high, the interest was also accruing. So when it was all said and done, my monthly payment was $760, but after 60 months, I would have paid $53,000 on a Nissan Altima. So in comparison, this Nissan auto loan was equivalent to an Audi S3, a Lexus IS350, or a BMW 330i. As you can see, all of those were luxury cars, which was not what my car was. So this is actually my favorite part. This is where things seem to start turning around. At the bare minimum, I knew that I needed a job that was going to pay at least $50,000 a year to help me pay for the car, because $24,000 was simply not cutting it. So on November 29th of 2017, I went to a job interview in the big city. Surprisingly enough, this was the first job that I wasn't feeling nervous about, because I had gotten rejected so many times prior to that for lack of experience. Now, I don't know if you guys can relate, but after going to so many interviews, you start losing a little bit of faith. You almost feel like you want to give up. But although I had gotten rejected so many times, I still practiced my interview questions, just like I did any other interview. I went in. I thought the interview went pretty well. After the interview, I called my dad, told him how much I loved the city, loved the traffic, the stench in the subway, the overcrowded streets. Gotta love New York. It seemed like a bit much, but it was a change for me. This was definitely where I wanted to be as far as location goes. But in my head, again, I already knew that I wasn't going to get the job. Thursday, November 30th, 2017, literally the next day, around 11 a.m., I got a call from their recruiter stating that they wanted me to join their family and that the start date would be January 8th of 2018. When I tell you, I literally wanted to scream. Finally, this job hunt was over. Base salary was $55,000 plus commission. I was going to pay that car off in no time. Call me manifestation queen in the making. You could not tell me anything. $24K to $55K right after college. I was satisfied. I was set. Nothing could ruin my day. So the very next day, December 1st of 2017, I got up early, got my car washed, and started drafting up my resignation letters for both jobs. I was feeling great. Still living beyond my means. I clearly had not learned my lesson. Me and a couple friends decided to go out later that evening to get something to eat. Around 1 a.m., I went to go drop off a friend. As we're pulling off from a stoplight, light literally just turned green. We're pulling off. Bam! What happens? I cannot make this up. Someone had literally rear-ended my car. We turned around to see what happened, and this guy wasn't even there. He had pulled off, trying to do a hit and run on me. Can you imagine? My brand new 2018 Nissan Altima, $760 a month car payment, had just been rammed, and this man was really trying to do a hit and run. No, not happening. I literally followed this man. At this point, we're driving side by side. We're trying to flag him down to pull over, stop the car. He's not pulling over. My friend pulls his hand out the window, still flagging him down. Get this. This man hits the side of the car and sideswipes the whole thing. What is happening? What is happening? Sir, this is not a high-speed chase. Just pull over. No, he did not. Instead, he turns down an illegal one-way street, I should say. Illegally. He turns down a one-way street. Luckily, I knew the area, so I just went to the next street, turned over, and I knew where he would kind of turn because there were a bunch of dead ends at the area. So I went over, and I found him. New York City style beeped my horn almost a block and a half or some. I'm not even sure. I just beeped the horn like there was no tomorrow. I did not care who was gonna wake me up. In hindsight, thinking about it now, that was probably a little dangerous. I didn't know who this man was. He could have had a gun for all we know. But luckily he didn't. Right. This guy had to be drunk. That was the only explanation. At least that was the only explanation I could think of at the time. Who does stuff like that? He had to have been scared of something. I just wasn't sure. So he finally gets out the car. And can you imagine? This man is literally pleading to pay for the damages. Sir, you didn't hit me once. You hit me twice. 2 times. If you really wanted to pay for the damages, you would have stopped the car the first time to pay for the damages. But you didn't. So I called the cops the second time he hit me. Exactly. The cops were already on their way. There was nothing I could do at that point. Till this day, I literally have no idea what happened, because when the cops got there, they confirmed that he wasn't drunk and hadn't been drinking at all. So I don't know if he was texting, sleeping. I literally don't know. But I get a tow truck to take the car to my house. The next day, I did take my car to get evaluated. And a few hours later, I got a call saying, "Hi, Hi, Miss Mills. We're sorry to inform you, but your car is now totaled. We're really sorry, but we will be paying you the cash value of your car, which is $23,000.
Hold up! Wait a minute.
But I paid $46,000. Never mind that the car was originally worth $33,000. So who's paying for the remaining? My car had depreciated as soon as I drove it off the lot. The car insurance paid $23,000 to the lender, which was what the cash value of the car was. However, now I was on the hook for $23,000. Where am I getting that from? Luckily, the insurance company informed me that all new cars come with a gap insurance. However, I know I didn't sign up for gap insurance. I don't know what they're talking about. So I go back into the contract just to see what they were talking about, because they did guarantee that this was for sure in the contracts. Just go back and read. Okay. So surely enough, I go in the contracts, and what do we have? Gap insurance. I was signing my life away, and I didn't even know what I was signing for. Gap insurance, warranty, everything was in the contracts, and I just signed for it without reading anything. Now, if you're anything like me, you're probably wondering, what is gap insurance? Gap insurance, guaranteed asset protection insurance, protects the borrower if the car is totaled. So they pay the difference between the actual cash value and the balance still owed on financing. So from my understanding, gap insurance was going to pay the difference between what the car was valued at, which was $33,000, and the cash value of what the insurance company paid, which was $23,000, totaling $10,000. That was what gap was going to cover, from what I understood. However, I definitely got lucky on this one, because the same lender financed me for my 2013 Nissan Altima. They merged that $10,000 that they rolled over from that car over to the second car to make it one loan. So instead of the $10,000 that gap insurance was going to cover, they were going to cover the full $23,000. I was off the hook for the entire $23,000. Had they not combined the two loans together, I literally would have been paying for the 2013 Nissan Altima without actually having the car, which would have been unfortunate. So when it was all said and done, I was literally done with the full $46,000 car payment. I wasn't paying $760 a month on a car note with an additional $250 for car insurance. I was done with it, and I was still going to be starting my $55K base job in a month. I say all that to say this. Sometimes you need a wake-up call to humble you. Pop that cloud you're on and bring you back down to earth. I still have my statement from 3 years ago, and I keep it with me because it was literally a God-sent miracle. It literally keeps me humbled, if you can see that. This was not only my worst financial decision, but the best thing that could have happened to me. It taught me that I was nowhere near where I wanted to be. I knew I wasn't where I wanted to be, but it opened my eyes. I now saw that I needed to start actively working towards the life I wanted to have rather than the life that I was settling for. I started reading and educated myself more, and that's when I realized that the money is there. You just have to go and get it. It's there. Your mindset does a complete 180 when you decide that you're tired of living paycheck to paycheck. Financial stability and freedom is out there. You are not destined to work the next 40 to 50 years at a 9-to-5 job. Your mindset is what begins the journey. So guys, thank you so much for tuning in into story time today. If you've made it this far, comment tragic down below, because mid-video my nail actually popped off. So if you haven't already done so, slam that like button, click subscribe. It's free. Thank you guys so much. I'll see you guys soon. Bye.